Hey folks, Steven here with Noble Arms, Firearms Education and Training. Today folks, we're going to talk a little bit about aspects of the escalation of force, okay? Specifically, we're going to talk about times that it is not okay to skip to using your weapon, especially actually firing that weapon. It's important to remember, folks, our firearms are not our first response. They are our last response. Just as Mr. Miyagi told Daniel-san, you learn karate so that you don't have to use it. You learn about firearms and you become educated and you become trained so that you don't have to use it. It's the same thing. So what am I talking in particular about? Last week, there was a few stories. I'm going to talk about just two of them. A few stories of shootings that happened last week that were circulating around the news, okay? With both of these incidences, lives were affected and lost for no reason. There was no reason, as it stands right now, there was no reason for life to have been affected that way and lost. So one of the stories I'm talking about involved a kid. I believe the news article said he was going to pick up some family members, a brother or sister, something like that, and he accidentally knocked on the door of the wrong house. That homeowner, in return, hearing this knock from an unannounced visitor, opened fire. There's a lot of fluff in the article, so it's really hard to just get down to the facts of what happened. When I say fluff, I'm referring to a lot of emotionally charged words, verbiage that gets you to view in a certain way, okay? So when I read a news article, I'm eliminating, in my head, I'm going through it and I'm eliminating all the fluff just to get down to what happened. And it's amazing that when you do that, you see the whole article in its entirety, but then you take away just the facts of what happened. It's like, wow, you could have told me that everything you wanted to say in a single paragraph, and instead, no, you made this huge thing about it. So it's like, okay. But anyways, so try yourself to do that. Try to eliminate the emotionally charged verbiage as you go through these articles. They're going to be in the comments section down below. The other incident involved, again, accidentally approaching the wrong house. Happened to a few kids that were, I guess, going to a party or something like that. Pulled up into a driveway, turned out to be the wrong house. Homeowner opened fire and killed one of the occupants of the vehicle. So in the first incidents, we have a child that got shot, accidentally going up, knocking on the wrong house. And another incident, we have some young people coming up to a driveway and getting shot for being at the wrong house. Not much can be said as far as the neighborhood itself. Were they known to be good neighborhoods? Were they known to be bad neighborhoods? You know, so none of that is mentioned. The facts that are mentioned is in two different places, two people were shot, one killed, simply for approaching the wrong house. Folks, if you get a knock on your door, unannounced, middle of the night, skipping to your firearm as far as the application of lethal force is not the first thing you need to do. Many folks today have cameras now, have doorbell cameras. If you have that resource, then use it, okay? Use that resource. See what's going on outside your door before you even approach the door, all right? And if you have the ability to speak through the camera, do that. If you don't, then just do what we did way back in the day and yell at your damn door. Who's there? What the hell are you on? Yeah, get out of here. It's all too simple, folks. It's all too simple. Both of these incidences could have been resolved in that manner. Okay? Your weapon, again, is not your first response. It is your last. Okay? You can physically just possess a firearm, but you need to possess a firearm with knowledge and training to go with it to make it complete. So, also in the comments section down below, I'm going to leave a link to a very short video that I saw on Facebook Reels. It shows a man who had every possible right to open fire, but chose not to. He had a decent enough draw, but instead of opening fire, he didn't. He showed discipline. He showed restraint. Folks, this is a wonderful thing to have. Again, in the situation that occurs in this video, he had every right to open fire, but he didn't open fire. There's a few things we need to ask ourselves, folks. Take, for example, in my neighborhood recently, there's been a few break-ins, vehicular break-ins. People are leaving stuff in their vehicles. People are coming around at night, finding them and stealing them. If you live in this great state of Texas and you have a truck or an SUV, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, it is assumed that you have a weapon in that vehicle. The practice of having a dedicated vehicle gun or a truck gun is very well known. It's very well known not only to the gun owners community, but to everyone else, okay? So if you're one of those folks who practices this, I'm going to encourage you to reconsider, okay? Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but do reconsider it. I personally don't utilize that practice of having a dedicated truck gun. I don't do that. I have an overnight gun that I take with me. Say I'm staying, for whatever reason, not in my own house for a night or so, and I have a bag with me. I have an overnight gun, but that overnight gun never actually stays in the vehicle when I'm not in it. If I'm not in the vehicle, then it's not in the vehicle. So, again, just take that in consideration. But I digress. So, a lot of these break-ins have been happening lately, and in my community, in my little neighborhood, we have a Facebook page. And some of the folks were talking about maybe going on patrol or conducting their exercise, their runs or walks or whatever during the times that they've learned that these things are happening, that all these vehicle break-ins are happening. And so, being the friendly neighborhood firearms instructor, I went ahead and told folks, this is probably why it's happening. A lot of trucks and, SUVs are targeted for this reason. I also told them that I'm not going to encourage nor discourage anybody patrolling their respective areas. They're free to do that. I did, however, wanted them to ask themselves two very important questions, and this applies to escalation of force and what we've been talking about. The two questions I asked was, first, what are you willing and able, like no shit able to do, not in your head, oh yeah, I'm gonna just dive off the roof and no. What are you actually willing and able to do if you encounter a criminal in action? First question. Second question. What are you willing and able to endure if you catch a criminal in action? And what I mean by endure, folks, is everything from A to Z. Are you willing to risk verbal altercation? Are you willing to risk physical? Are you willing to risk lethal? And if so, are you willing to risk potentially making a stop by the hospital, getting patched up? Are you willing to endure the administrative process of dealing with the police? Taking a statement, possibly fingerprints, going downtown for an interview. They call it an interview now. And so on and so forth. Are you willing to go through all of that? If you are, fine. That's your decision. But these are two very important questions you have to ask yourselves, folks. What are you willing and able to do if you find someone conducting a criminal act? And what are you willing and able to endure? Me personally, I'm not willing to endure a lot. Okay. In my opinion, if you're not angry enough to, you know what, I'm not going to go into that. That's going to get me in trouble. Anyways, so, sorry about that. I had this little thought in my head, I could say that. No, I'm not going to say that. So, but folks, we need to exercise restraint, and we need to actually think proactively on these things. And we need to have discipline, okay? Having a firearm is the first. Being educated and trained needs to follow that, all right? Folks, don't forget what all that I offer you, okay? I cover the basics and fundamentals of not just pistol shooting, but also rifle. I also do consulting. Say, for example, you want to know, what am I going to do if someone breaks into my house? I can help you with that. I can help you come up with a plan that fits your specific situation and needs. Say, for example, you live alone. You live alone. You are your only responsibility. There are steps and things that you can do to protect your house as being single. I can help you if you have children, if you have a spouse. Oh, okay, so the master bedroom's here, the kids' bedroom's over here. All right, cool. So let's customize this a little bit to work with how you can be effective in defending your own home. So that's just some of the things that I can do for you folks. All right, so let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions or if I can help you in any ways. Don't forget to reach me out to noble-arms.org. Check out what I got for you. My website's looking a little lately. I'm in the process of building more and adding more. I'm adjusting to the times. I'm educating myself a little bit more. So you might see some frequent modifications and changes happening to my website. It's not a glitch or anything like that. I'm updating. I'm trying to improve on how all that looks. But folks, again, have any questions? Let me know. As always, stay safe. God bless. Stay safe.